A Redditor wants to know if they're in the wrong for demanding to know who reported them to HR. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, a story titled, "He Already Cheated." I, 33-year-old male, am developing a crush on my wife's 34-year-old female, cousin, 33-year-old female. How long until these feelings fade? I have a huge crush on my wife's cousin Candace. This is a terrible situation I found myself in. I should say I genuinely think I have the greatest wife, Anna, in the world, and it's not even close. She's an amazing woman, mother, and wife. When I met her, she approached me at the bar and I was flattered. We hit it off almost instantly. She was nervous, but I found it cute, and she said she doesn't normally approach guys but wanted to talk. Later that night, her cousin/best friend came, and my jaw was on the ground. Candace is just a freaking gorgeous machine. Everything about her, but it was too late. I did wonder how different things would have been if I met Candace first, but 10 years later, I would say things worked out. We got married and have a great little girl. The thought had completely left my head until recently. About 2 months ago, Candace had to drop something off and I took off while my wife was at work. She had borrowed my laptop because hers broke while she gets a new one. We were just talking and drinking wine, watching 90 Day Fiancé, and she confessed to me that when she showed up, she thought I was handsome and it sucked that I was already talking to Anna. My jaw was on the ground, and I told her when I saw her, I was like, dang, and wishing I saw you first. And she said, "Is that so?" I immediately changed the subject, but my heart was pounding. Eventually, she left and went home. She texted me later saying that she just wants to hook up one time and that she would text my wife that she needs help fixing her dishwasher and to reply yes or no and then delete the conversation. She said she would understand either way. I just said that I would be over there and deleted the message. I waited, and my wife said that she'll take care of our daughter and that Candace needs help with her dishwasher. I went over there with zero intention to have hooked up with her and to let her know we can't do this, but unfortunately things went the other direction and had hooked up. We agreed it was just a one-time you only live once moment, and that was that. Unfortunately, that moment started bringing up old feelings I thought was gone. She became much more flirty discreetly. I've started being distant towards my wife. We both know we can't act on it, but I kind of wish we could be together, but it would hurt too many people and I can't do that. But at events, we become closer. I had food on my face yesterday and she was wiping it off. That annoyed my wife, who said that she can wipe off my husband's face. She even complained about it in the car, but I reassured her that she's overreacting. Yeah, I'm in a sticky situation and just need help removing my feelings before things get out of control. How can I lose these feelings so I can focus on my family? Edit. I get it. I'm a POS. You don't have to tell me because no one feels more disgusted at myself than I am. I just want actual advice on how to have these feelings fade so I can focus on my family. I won't respond to comments just attacking me and not giving genuine advice on how to make the best out of this really crappy situation. So for all of you people hearing this, how many of you actually agree with the notion that they were going over there with the full intention to shut this down, and that it truly was an accident that they somehow ended up in bed together? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't think there's a single third party privy to that information that would think, oh, OP is innocent there. I mean, I feel like that's just as bad as the people who end up in the ER who accidentally tripped, slipped, and fell right on top of that flashlight. If OP really wanted to make a difference while not coming clean, they would absolutely cut off any contact and they would push that cousin away. The second best thing, even though there's going to be nuclear fallout because you dropped a bomb, OP should probably be honest. I'd like to know what you guys think down in the comments. Jade4813 commented, "She asked me if I wanted to hook up and said I could just say no. I told her yes and went over there so I could totally tell her no in person. I swear, but we somehow ended up having hooked up. No idea how it happened, it's a total mystery. Anyway, I told my wife she's overreacting to her cousin openly flirting with me." Usagi610 commented, "Poor kid." Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy getting to decide whether or not all of these people are massive jerks or not, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our next story is, "My cousin hates me, and I'm pretending not to notice." You can call me, 25-year-old female, a horrible person all you want. I have a cousin named Iris, 16-year-old female, and I love her so much. Here's what happened. Iris has autism and she was hanging out with this girl who was doing a bunch of things I didn't want her to be around. I told her parents because I thought it was for her own good. I was trying to do the right thing for her. Iris got really mad and we had a huge argument. She said she would never speak to me again. It's been 4 months, and I thought maybe she had forgiven me, but she hasn't. She's still really mad. Recently I saw her and said, "Hi Iris." She didn't say anything or even look at me. I tried talking to her, but she just kept playing on her Switch and didn't pay any attention to me. This was around Christmas, but in our family we celebrated late this year on January 5th. I had a $30 budget for everyone's gift, but for Iris, knowing she probably still didn't like me, I spent $38. I got her a makeup kit with a bunch of different products and it was pretty expensive. When it was time to open presents, Iris gave everyone gifts except me. Then she opened the gift I gave her. She just looked at it, then looked at me and didn't say anything at first. Eventually she said, "Thank you," but when I tried to give her a hug, she flat out refused. She told me, "Don't you dare ever freaking touch me." I don't think I did anything wrong. I was trying to do what was best for her, but now she absolutely hates my guts. I love Iris so much. I feel like this is a tricky situation where you kind of understand where OP may have been coming from, where they think it is for the best for this person, but ultimately, for better or worse, it was ultimately something that Iris didn't want to have happen. Honestly, I think if OP truly cares about Iris and still wants some kind of relationship, they need to accept that they may never open back up to them, but they should just continue to be as kind as possible, apologetic, and not overly heavy-handed in trying to force some kind of interaction. Just kind of be supportive and loving from a distance and hope that in time, maybe they will open back up. Fragrant Tomatillo 19 commented, "The OP keeps repeating that the friend self-harmed and that's why she told on her, but I think the OP is jealous. Being 9 years older than Iris probably made Iris look up to her like she was the cool older cousin. Then Iris became a teenager and developed her own circle and friends, and OP no longer got that ego boost from her. She thought that Iris would come running back thanking her for saving her from the bad influence. She's not just a jerk, but Delulu on top of it." Our next story is, "I only dated rich men. I called my 30-year-old female boyfriend, 34-year-old male, poor. Is there any point in continuing the relationship? I typically dated engineers, lawyers, doctors, pharmacists, etc., and this was my first time dating a blue-collar worker / someone who made under $50,000. This is one of his insecurities. He's a handyman who was fixing my toilet and sink when we met, and I found his personality funny and down to earth, and that's what attracted me to him. We dated for almost a year, but ultimately our lifestyles were quite different, and we see things differently. He's pointed out a few times he wanted me to cook more, wipe down glass shower doors after showering, emptying the dishwasher, etc. In general, I'm lacking in doing household chores. I am perfectly able to clean up after myself and make healthy food that doesn't require much skills, I just prefer not to do them. He bought one of those magnetic chore charts and put it on the fridge. He assigned me to clean the bathroom toilets once a week, deep clean the tub every 2 weeks, wash the bed sheet once every 2 weeks, etc. His own chores are there as well. It's divided as 1/3 on me and 2/3 on him. I told him I refuse to do any more chores than minimal cleaning up after myself since I don't technically live with him. I do stay over 5 nights a week simply because he lives closer to the both of our work. He says it's to prepare when we move in together. I told him flat out I'm not doing most of those chores, and I'll be having a housekeeper coming in twice a week to maintain the home after we move in, as I currently have a housekeeper 1 to 2 times per week at my almost vacant apartment anyways. He thinks that's a giant waste of money. I told him house chores are a giant waste of time and that time is the real currency, not money. We argued about this for hours, and I even pulled out some number for him where hiring someone saves us both money and time. It ended up with me calling him poor. Specifically, I said, "You have a poor man's mentality, which is why you'll just always be poor." And he got extremely offended because he's always been sensitive about how much he makes compared to me, my friends, and my exes. Of course, he's mad at me, but I'm also wondering if this relationship is worth continuing because we don't see eye to eye on money, currency, or time. Is this something we can overcome? Honestly, all throughout this story, I'm just thinking to myself, these people don't really seem compatible. OP's lifestyles and expectations just sound so different from what their partner expects. I feel like if you can't compromise and find common ground here, how is it going to work out in the long term? rSlash commented, "It's okay to choose to outsource chores if you want and can afford it, but I think it's hard to come back from the level of disdain expressed by OOP. It also doesn't seem like these two people are able to compromise on lifestyle, so the relationship might have been doomed anyway." This next story is, "Am I the jerk for being political among my BFF's friends? I'm extremely political. My BFF knows that, and she's extremely political too. She helps me out with every single assignment or project I have for my social awareness director position, and she does a better job than I can do. When it comes to politics, she's my backbone. I legit can't do what I do without her. That's why I don't understand why she was shocked when I started talking about politics among her new friends. She forces me to hang out with her new friends every single time, and the topic of politics never presented itself until somebody said something extremely freaking stupid about foreign relations. I'm not going to repeat the argument, I don't want any snowflake tough guy to get their feelings hurt, and I told him that I think he's an idiot. I said it just like that, and then I proceeded to tell him why he was wrong. I asked him for his reasons for making his statement, and he couldn't refute anything I said. I'm not sure what's worse, the statement he made or the fact that he suddenly started to act like a scared puppy when I called him out on his ignorance. I called her when I got home and she ignored my calls. I know she was ignoring me because we're always on FaceTime literally 90% of the day, and I just dropped her off. Well, I did the exact same thing when she texted me. She tried to start a conversation, which I ignored, and then she sent me a long butt paragraph about how I embarrassed her and ruined her new friendships. I don't think I'm the jerk because I was absolutely correct. The guy was being an evil isolationist. And also, she knows that I'm political, so yeah. You know, I'm actually kind of the opinion that if you can help it, avoiding talking about politics in any kind of friend group, unless like the friend group is about that kind of thing, it's usually for the better. The problem is when somebody else introduces that topic. I don't think it's wrong for OP to share their opinion and also say that they're staunchly opposed and think somebody's incredibly wrong about a topic. That said, I think what makes OP clearly in the wrong here is their way too argumentative behavior. I don't care how wrong or how ignorant you think this person is, but I feel like if you have to enter a topic immediately going, "You're an idiot, here's why," like already you've lost the plot and it stinks. The difference here is being political and being a political jerk. This next story is, "Am I the jerk for telling my sister she can't get a discount to buy our parents' house?" My sister, female 56, has been living with our mother for the past 5 years since our dad died and COVID hit. Mom's dementia meant she couldn't be alone, and sis and her son, 12 years old, offered to move into mom's house. Now that mom needs to move to long-term care, we can sell our house. Sis wants to buy it for herself and her son, and she wants it at a lower price than we'd get from the market. I've refused, and I think I might be the jerk. Sis has taken care of my mother for the last few years, doing the shopping, cooking, meds, appointments, etc. But she's been getting free rent, so it seems like she's already benefited with free housing. I admit I don't do much for my mom. I live an hour away and I take night school courses. Plus, I'm not as patient and can't handle some of her habits brought on by the dementia. We don't know what the house is really worth because it's run down and needs a ton of work, and all the other houses around have been renovated. My sister thinks that this house being run down will put it closer to her price range. For context, neighborhood houses have sold recently for about $1.2 to $1.5 million, and she wants to buy this house for $1 million to $1.2 million. A real estate agent recently said that he thought he could get close to 1.5. I've got another agent coming today, and I told sis she'll have to pay full price if she wants it. She owns an investment rental she could sell, and I own my own home. My sister called me the jerk for ruining her chances at home ownership and for not stepping up with help. Also, for context, it's rare to find a house in our city under $1 million. My mother can afford a nursing home, so she doesn't need the money from the sale of the house to live on. But the less my mother spends, the more we inherit when she passes away, and our parents always wanted things divided equally among us. Am I the jerk for insisting we sell our mother's house for top dollar? I would definitely like to hear people's thoughts in the comments on this story, but I'm personally leaning towards OP is the jerk. To be honest, I'm kind of confused as to where the $1.2 million is actually going. Would it be technically going into the mom's account, therefore eventually becoming inheritance? What I'm failing to understand here is why couldn't OP do a deal with their sister where they just give OP $750,000, which would be their half of the $1.5 million sale, and then she essentially bought that house for $750,000, which is a great deal for her. OP gets the full 50-50 inheritance they were ever going to possibly get to begin with, and the person who was actually there caring for the mom and wants to fix the house up has room to do so. Like, what more could OP possibly gain from doing a $1.5 million sale to a third party? Because I'm assuming OP or their sister have power of attorney and control over that asset because the mom does have dementia. This next story is, am I the jerk for getting mad at my best friend's girlfriend? Me, 24-year-old female. I have a best friend, 23-year-old male. I've known him since high school. He was pretty shy back then, and we'd been paired up for a school assignment. At first, he was pretty closed with me, but we noticed that we had a lot in common and he began to have more confidence. We're both heavy metal fans, although I admit that we're not experts on bands and all that stuff, but we had fun going to concerts together. I feel like I made him more self-confident. He even had the confidence to grow his hair and dress the way he liked. He comes from a somewhat religious family that didn't like skeletons on their shirts or rings, but over time they accepted him. Well, a few months ago, he told me and our friends that he already had a girlfriend, 21-year-old female. I admit that surprised me, but I was happy for him. However, when he introduced her to us, I was slightly disappointed. I won't deny it, she's pretty, but she looks too naive and looks like the typical good girl. Although instead of pink, she wears light blue, and her personality was so blank. She didn't talk much, and when she did, she stuttered a little like she wasn't sure what to say. It was irritating. I know this sounds bad, but on almost all of our group outings, he would take her with him now, and it was so annoying to see how she had tried to be friends with everyone. She also tried to get closer to me. Now here's the problem. A few weeks ago, it was my birthday. For obvious reasons, I invited him along with the rest of my friends, and obviously he took her to my party. I was upset, but I didn't want to be rude and I let it go. When it was time for presents, he said to me, "Someone else also wanted to give you a special present." He made a gesture to his girlfriend. She smiled at me and gave me her gift. It was an Iron Maiden t-shirt and sweater. I didn't know how to react. I didn't say anything. She seemed to have noticed because she told me that if I didn't like my gift, I could exchange it for another one, but I rejected it. She started saying it was a very special gift, that I was like an older sister to her and other things. I couldn't take it anymore and I yelled at her to shut up, that it had become very clear to me that she was very perfect and that she should do me a favor and shut her mouth. She didn't say anything, she just looked down and started crying. My best friend looked at me in a way that he had never done before. He just apologized and left with her. I was so devastated and upset to see that my birthday had been ruined, and the scolding from my other friends didn't make me feel any better. The next day, he wrote to me and told me that until I apologized, he could no longer be my friend. I tried to tell him that I didn't mean to, that I was just feeling overwhelmed, but he told me that was no excuse and stopped talking to me. I've written to him multiple times begging for forgiveness, but he just leaves me on read and never answers. I try to talk to our group of friends to get their help, but everyone told me I was a fool for treating my best friend's girlfriend like that when she just wanted to be nice. I admit that I may have been a bit harsh on her, and I would hate for my friend to throw away so many years of friendship just because of one incident. I am desperate. Am I the jerk for messing with my best friend's girlfriend and accidentally hurting her feelings? Edit, my previous post was deleted and for some reason Reddit was crashing, so I deleted my account. I will apologize to her later. Short update, I already sent a message to his girlfriend to apologize. She hasn't read it yet. She wakes up at 8 a.m. I hope there's still hope. For those few wondering why I expected only my friend to come to my party, it was going to be too loud because of the music and she doesn't like that. She doesn't have any disabilities as far as I know, but I think it might be social anxiety. I'm not sure. Update 1. Okay, I've already earned the hate of Reddit, thanks, but you don't have to send me rude private messages. I already understood that he acts very badly. Well, I already got an answer. Not directly from her, but from my now ex-best friend. Yes, he decided not to give me another chance. This is what he said. OP, I already saw the message you sent to A, his girlfriend. She showed it to me. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your apology feels forced and fake. It took you a whole week to apologize to her, while you were sending me messages every hour. I don't know. I don't think there's any remorse on your part, and that's why I don't feel comfortable with you anymore. You ended our friendship as soon as you decided to humiliate my girl. I appreciate the time we had as friends, but now my happiness is her, and I will protect her even if I have to cut off all my friendships. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you realize how terrible you act. Goodbye. Reading that was like a bucket of cold water falling on me. Now I see that my attitude drove away the person I loved and cared about the most. I will still try to fix things. Edit 2. I admit I had feelings for my friend, but I think I confused them with brotherly affection. However, I really loved them too much, and I guess that's why I acted like that with his girlfriend. It was just resentment. She didn't deserve it. Well, I guess that story kind of resolved itself, but I think it was pretty clear OP's reaction, it came from a place that most people probably would not consider rational. Like, it sounds like such a sweet moment that OP just completely poo-pooed all over. It definitely reeked of jealousy. This next story is, am I the jerk for telling my sister to stay home by herself? Okay, so my 15-year-old female, sister Scarlett, 17-year-old female, hates pretty much everything our family enjoys. We're all outdoorsy people, but she hates it. Her reasoning kind of sucks because it's nothing more than just, I prefer being indoors. The only reasonable excuse of hers is because of allergies, and even then, it feels like a cop-out because she could easily take meds for it. We used to try and make her go with us, but after a while we got tired and would just leave her at home while we went out and had fun. Yesterday we were going on a hike in a forest nearby and tried convincing Scarlett to join. She refused again, and it led to a fight between her and my parents. She then yelled something about how she hates my parents for forcing her to join family activities she hates. So I jumped in and yelled at her, saying how can she stay at home by herself like the miserable jerk she is, and that I wished she could just be like us. She won't speak to any of us now. My parents said that I was right, but I feel a little bad that Scarlett won't talk to me now. Am I the jerk? I'm gonna be honest, I think OP is the jerk. I think it's pretty clear she doesn't want to do those things and doesn't want to feel compelled to have to take medication or whatever. She said she hates those activities. She doesn't want to feel forced to join them. Is that not a fair thing for her to express? Does she really deserve hate and being called a jerk because she doesn't like hiking and doesn't want to feel bad about having to say no every time? Dr. Sparkle commented, people love to say, just take meds for allergies, but they don't seem to know that medications have side effects that can vary widely among different people, and that allergy medications aren't supposed to be taken long term. Our next story is, would I be the jerk if I demanded to know who reported me to HR? I'm in my early 30s and male. In our office, I'm known as a bit of a jokester. Nothing mean, and I don't go out of my way to prank someone or hurt anyone's feelings, but I have plenty of jokes and give lots of silly nicknames. There's a newer woman in our office. She's in her early 20s and she has a 3-year-old. They live in an RV park a few miles away from work, and I've nicknamed her RV Reba. I didn't see the harm, it's just a silly nickname. I've given silly nicknames to most of my coworkers. If anyone complains about it, I just explain I don't mean anything by it. It's just a silly thing I do, and there was no reason for them to be offended. RV Reba wasn't thrilled with the nickname, said it was insulting, but I explained it wasn't intended to be. It was just something silly I came up with. She asked me to stop using it. I don't use it around her much anymore, but I think it's a silly thing to get upset about, so I still use it around others. Well, someone reported me to HR. I got called into a meeting this morning and given a written warning to stop harassing my coworkers. I don't see how this is harassing at all. They're silly nicknames. I asked who reported me, and they said it wasn't just one person but multiple complaints. RV Reba and a few others were getting coffee, and I wanted to know who reported me. RV Reba said she didn't know but was glad they spoke to me about it since I wasn't listening to them asking me to stop. I think it was probably her and one of the other 2 coworkers who can never take a joke. I want to know exactly who it was though. A few coworkers said I'm already the jerk and should let it go, but I really want to know who reported me. Would I be the jerk if I demanded to know who it was? So I would just love to say to OP, the jerk in this situation, very clearly, that maybe they should stop going around and continuing to harass their coworkers asking them, hey, who reported me to HR? It kind of gives me the same energy as that viral video of the guy on the plane that just keeps repeating, I just want to shake your hand, just let me shake your hand. Come on, just tell me who reported me to HR. Nobody's gonna fess up to it, Larry, stop harassing people. SFB208 commented, I think you know you're the jerk. Your jokes aren't amusing to others. This has been explicitly spelled out to you multiple times from the sound of it, therefore you should have already stopped. If others aren't laughing, it's not funny. If it's not funny, it's not a joke. If it's not a joke, your continued behavior is harassment. Stop it before you quite rightly lose your job. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear some more stories about crazy situations Redditors have gotten themselves in, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.